Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana, and today I'm here doing live readings. And as per the last few weeks, I have a kind of a theme. I have a plan with this specific spread, and this spread is going to work really well for all of your questions. It's just going to challenge me a little bit to incorporate the energy of the spread into your reading. And so if you saw the thumbnail, I will explain the spread as we start. And it's a 3-card spread with a 4th card added at the end. And there's a little bit of instruction below, but I will get to that in a second. So welcome to Andrew, Well-Tempered Claire, DT. Hello, DT. Okay, so I am going to, and I look forward to welcoming you as you arrive. And I will use the Wildwood Tarot for the first few readings. And then as I just feel the need, I will switch up the decks. One of the things about this spread, I would suggest if you're going to practice this yourself, is to choose a deck where you feel connected to the court cards. So you understand, you're comfortable reading the court cards. This is in a section of the Wild Magic book, this one, at the back of the book, where there is a discussion of the energy of the courts, working with the courts, looking at the courts from different perspectives. So you may or may not be aware that the court cards, of course, can represent other people in your life. They can also represent aspects of yourself, and they can also be looking at life lessons or patterns or things. So there's a few different ways to look at the court cards, and they do a decent job actually in this book in expanding that energy. So I hope to share some of that with you today. Hello there, Danielle Woven Pixel. Welcome to Kristen. Okay, excellent. Well, yeah, go ahead and put in your requests, and if you can let me know the general energy of your question or a specific question. So I thought what I would do is just explain the spread first of all, and tell you how it works in case you want to play along, or at least my take on it anyway. You know, you read somebody else's words in a guidebook, and then sometimes we don't always listen carefully or read carefully or something. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so I'm shuffling my deck, and when I am preparing for a reading, I have the question in my mind. I'm repeating the question, maybe helping the querent to reword the question. And I shuffle, shuffle, shuffle until it feels right. Usually I cut the cards with my left hand like this. And in this spread, we are pulling 3 cards. And the instructions are to do this. So you're going to turn over the cards until you find a minor card. And so the top card is a minor. So that's going to be the first card. And this is the situation that is going on right now. So I'm going to relate this card to the situation, talk about this in relationship to your question. And then you continue to go through the cards until the first court card appears. So there is the Queen of Bows. So that's going to be the court card for the reading. And the court card represents the way you are in this situation. So you know how sometimes in particular situations, we kind of change our personality. We might feel empowered. We might feel intimidated. We might feel, I don't know, it's almost like in different situations, we have different masks or we have different ways of being. And this card is going to tell me, tell you, tell us how you are in this situation. And then we carry on until we get a major arcana. I suppose I could go faster. Okay, which is the Hooded Man, the Hermit. Okay, and so that's the 3rd card. And the major arcana is the wisdom of the situation. So then we're going to go through and have a look at this message in general. And then when we're done, the instructions are to go through until you find that next court card. Okay, which is the King of Stones. And this energy is, and I'm going to use their words exactly because they're just beautiful. The person you can become when you heed the wisdom of the reading. So the idea of this is that it is an evolution from this to this, or an evolvement of your perspective. Excuse me, spitting on my own cards. Evolvement of your perspective of the situation. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. Sound like fun? So again, if you're playing along, make sure you have a deck where the court cards feel comfortable. You know, the court cards feel like, okay, I can read these, I can understand these. I kind of want to do a reading for myself, which I will do after. Stuff is shifting in my life, so I'm like, I haven't done a lot of personal readings lately because I'm doing so much tarot study at the time, but I'm ready to do a personal reading. Hello, Nancy. Welcome, welcome. Elena, hello, welcome to you. Okay, so I'm going to work with the wildwood for the first few, just because this is kind of the theme of this reading, and this spread is a gift from the Wildwood Tarot. And then as I feel drawn, I have quite a few decks here that I really like the court cards. You know, like I really like them in The Way Home, love them in the Bone Stone, Druidcraft, Pagan Otherworlds. The court cards in the Marielle, which is here, which is going to be my next Hangman deck if I ever get through the Wildwood. Really, really interesting. I also have the Numinous here, which is a very interesting take on the court cards. So I'm hoping to do a few readings with each of those today. And I have plenty of time today, so happy to go past the hour. Yeah, so let us begin. Let's do some smudging, just because. And as always, I really do appreciate, and I want to thank you for your donations and your contributions to my channel and the many different ways that you have contributed. It really does help to support my work as a reader. And yeah, and some of you have been so generous, and thank you. It means a lot to me. Yeah. Danielle, you are one. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to go up to the top, and we'll start with Mr. Andrew. So focusing on Andrew's career as a massage therapist. Okay. So we are seeking insight into the situation, the energy around the career as a massage therapist, how, what is Andrew's energy in this, and is there some wisdom to support his career? As always, we ask that these messages be in the highest for the greatest good and that no harm be done. So be it. Hello, Miss Amber. Yes, I'm talking to you. Okay. All right. Four of Stones. Love this card in this deck. You know, one of the things in this card that I feel is the little bit of timidity of the fawn, the fawn that is underneath the standing stones. Love the fact that the sun is rising and there's so much. I feel so much warmth with this. It's a very protective energy. It feels like, it's a 4, right? So it's a really good place to grow from. But it feels like you're a little bit scared, like you're a little bit nervous about stepping into what is this exactly going to look like? What is the nature of the career? Thank you very much for the super chat, Elena. I appreciate it. And then we're going to go through and, it's right up the top. Okay. So such transformational energy in the eel. The element is water. So there's a sense of emotions with this. There may be an idealized, romanticized view of how this career is supposed to look. So you may want to be aware of that. Thank you, Nancy, very much. Appreciate the super chat. You might want to be aware of romanticizing the job. So what I'm picking up on is making sure that your feet are on the ground and that you're looking after the practical aspects of setting up the business. And I also want to say that this is a huge transformational card. So I feel like the practicing of massage is going to take you as a human on a spiritual journey into a whole new level. And I keep meaning to go back and do some reading about the journey of the eels. And I'm so familiar with the salmon journey, but not the eel journey. And I vaguely remember it from school, but I want to go back and look at that. Winding path also too. Snakes and eels. When I'm seeing images of snakes and eels, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be a bit of a journey. This is not this is not an arrow. This is not a straight shoot through. So take your time as you're setting up the business. Okay. So lots of great messages here. Oh, and then we want to go to the first. Okay. Nice. Good, strong, connected energy, having the green man show up here. So the wisdom of the green man is, I almost see the, I don't know how to say this. You becoming stronger through this. So there's a level of confidence. There's a level of raw masculinity. There's a level of sure-footedness. And if you connect the green man with that 4 of stones, it's like, yeah, you got your feet on the ground. You have this, it's an empowering thing for you. It's an empowering transformation. So the journey of the eel, the journey of the Knight of Vessels, and how you may continue to work through this. So the second court card for Andrew is the Queen of Bows. Okay, so fiery energy. It's definitely an aspect of growing of the business. And so what I'm sensing here is that an importance to be very practical at the beginning, to be cautious of the over-romanticizing of what the business may look like. And so to be very practical about the marketing and how it's all set up, and then allow the business to grow. There's also a very fiery energy with this queen. Now, yes, there's a moon in the card, and yes, it is feminine energy, but it also has that passionate sense of growth and creativity. which sits really nicely, right? So you heed the message of the green man and you continue to allow that to grow. It's kind of cool. All right, so yeah, beautiful, beautiful message for Andrew. Let's go to Aditi. And I'm just gonna mix up the cards. All right, so we'll switch gears and we're gonna look at Aditi's relationship with Yogesh. All right, and then we'll go through everybody in order. It just helps with the chat because it does tend to jump around in the StreamYard. So after Aditi will be Elena, I believe. Yeah, so we'll do Elena and Paper Moon. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it. All right, so let's focus on Aditi. And as always, if you have insight into the readings and there's something that you see that jumps out at you, please feel free to put that into the chat. Everybody who is here, we're all here to support one another. And I tend to stick, with my flow in the reading, but please feel free to add a layer. It's great that we can do that for one another. Okay, so Aditi and Aditi's evolving relationship with Yogesh. All right. Okay. Minor. Seven of Arrows. Let's look at the details of this. It's incredible artwork in this deck. It almost feels I feel the energy of a dance here. Just the gesture, the way that the arm is up over the forehead. It feels dramatic. Maybe it feels like melodrama. You know that expression, life is happening for me, not to me? Hello, Anna. Thank you for the super chat. Welcome to Sophie, Patricia. Thank you all for hopping in. You know that expression, life is happening to me. Sorry, for me, not to me. And it almost feels as if you're how can I say this? I want to work with your self-confidence. And I would love to have a face-to-face conversation and help you to see that inner fire, that inner light, that inner strength. Because this card feels like one of surrendering to those little voices in your head or those little voices in your gut that tell you you're not enough, you're not pretty enough, there's something wrong with your skin or the way you talk, or you're not rich enough or something. And this card makes me want to focus on all of your strengths and all of your beautiful qualities. You're asking about a relationship, right? So for the relationship to be whole and well and beautiful and rich and supportive, those insecurities of yours are going to need some work. They're going to need some time and some nourishment so that you can see your light, so that you can see your strength. Because if you see your strength, if you see your beauty, if you see all those lovely qualities that you possess, then Yogesh will share those too and see those too. And Yogesh probably already sees them, but I'm guessing it drives him crazy the way that you don't see them and that you don't embrace them. So to me, this is a card of really starting to you know what I mean, Aditi? Letting go of that talk in the head where you feel less than. Okay, so we're looking for a court card. First court card is the King of Bows. What is this? Are you creating confrontation? You know, are you stoking the fire? This feels like war. Something like this feels like anger. Or are you angry about something? Did you have a fight about something? So if that's the case, I'm waiting. Sorry, the chat is so delayed. So by the time I ask the question and I look at the chat and you haven't responded, there's this delay, but I'm just going to keep talking. So there is tremendous power in the King of Bows, but it's not the gentleness that is probably serving you at this time. So the insecurities live in the Manipura chakra. The insecurities live in the solar plexus chakra. The excess of fire is in the solar plexus chakra. So for you, this is about bringing that into balance. It's about cooling the fire a little bit. You would benefit from cooling the fire. Nourishment, self-care, looking after yourself, building your inner strength in order to support a relationship that obviously you care very much about. Okay, so you didn't have a fight. You didn't have an argument. Okay, if that is the case, then this excessive fire is fueling those insecurities. So what I just said about that imbalance in the solar plexus chakra. Okay, so the major is the stag. So this is about standing in your own power. Yes, Kristen, it can also be anxiety as well too. So in the solar plexus, we have such a range of emotions and energies, and the anger can turn to depression. The anxiety also very much lives there. So when I say cool the fire, it's about bringing the fire into balance. And I really feel that the biggest message for you here is to understand that you have the choice to let go of those insecurities and start to nourish them. Okay, so the stag. All right. So this is the Justice card in this deck. And the piece here that I find, this is actually a really interesting metaphor. So the stag wants us to look at the environment. And in this deck, we're looking at the natural environment, the natural resources. The stag is also a protector. So there's a couple of messages for you. One is that you are definitely protected from a higher source, and that there's a very strong masculine kind of energy with and around you. That is absolutely without question. But there seems to be this really interesting metaphor, and I've never gone this way with this card before, but there's a wanting to look at your environment. What is it in your environment that is making you feel less than, that is not allowing you to stand up and feel tall? Is it the people you live with? Is it the actual physical space? Is it the mood of the environment? And so perhaps this is an invitation to shift your environment, or to at least spend time of every day in a different environment, so that you can, such a strange message, but I have to go with it, so that you can begin to shift the frequency of the insecurity. Okay. And the other, so I'm really curious what the shift of the bow energy is. King to king. King to king. How interesting. So these are the two masculine kings, king of fire, king of air. The thing I like about this is that these are empowered energies. These are energies that really embrace leadership, standing tall, standing strong, right? Which is the opposite of this energy of the Seven of Arrows. And it feels like the King of Arrows is an evolved energy from the Seven of Arrows. And so this takes you from the solar plexus into the heart space, into the throat, depending on how, I'm not going to go into that analysis right now, but it definitely takes you to a higher frequency. It takes you to a lighter frequency. So yeah, interesting message. Also be mindful of food. Food can also affect all of this as well too. When we talk about solar plexus chakra, food is a huge player in the wellness of that. All right. Thank you, Aditi. And thank you, Spirit. Bonsoir, Burning Dreamer. V, I did reply to your email, and I'm sorry, it got buried in a bunch of emails. And so please look at my response, and I look forward to, hopefully we can meet this weekend. And I'm happy to do a reading for you as well today too. Okay. All right, so let's go to Elena. Fear in love. And again, thank you for your super chat, Elena. I appreciate it. Let's have a sip of water. Is anyone trying this spread? Is anyone playing along and doing this on your own table? Oh, and just look at Anna's comment, the last comment in the, well, that might not be the last one in the chat. Oh, it's not, it's way back. Anna says, it's interesting how some of the messages you say to other people are right with what I need to hear too. And that is, it's so true. There's 16 people watching now, which one of them is me because I have another window open. So 15 of you. And we are gathered together for a reason on this day. And the people who watch in the playback are a limited number of souls as well too. And so there's a reason that this unique group is gathered here for these messages. And so yes, they are for specific people, but they're also, in a way, you know, we're all connected. So let's focus on Elena and just her language, the language of relationship, being restless, afraid in love. Okay. And so we invite allow me to be a channel for your messages. Allow the cards to reflect your wisdom. Oh, that's not a minor card. But interesting, isn't that interesting that the first card on the top of the deck is the Forest Lovers? And I think there's a subtle message there, or not so subtle message, that was the card on the top of the deck. But let's go through I just kind of want to keep that there because I think it's beautiful. Okay, so the first minor. Interesting. I can back off with the pictures, but I think you like to see the art. So I'm going to keep this in my view so I can bring this in a little bit. 7 of Vessels. Okay. I'm wondering if the energy, if there is an energy of holding on to a past relationship or holding on to past relationships. I wonder if there was a love in your life some years back that you've never really let go of, or that you've never really mourned the death of. And so part of the restless energy and part of the fear has to do with the fact that the old relationships still are hovering. Their energy is still very much with you. Yeah, not so subtle, Sophie. I know. Not so subtle. Yeah. And I think this is something that when we're all contemplating a relationship, there's always an aspect to this. But for this card to show up, it kind of feels to me like that is probably the greatest factor affecting moving forward and moving into love. You fear you fear the pain, you fear the sorrow from old wounds. Okay. It's very, very hard to move into a healthy relationship when there's this sense of fear. Fear primarily is connected to the root chakra and connected to our first tribe, our first impressions of family, our experiences as a child. And so any kind of grounding work, any kind of root chakra healing, root chakra medicine is going to benefit you at this time to start to begin to release the fear, to feel grounded. Being restless is not a grounded energy. Not a grounded energy. You know, this card also is the card that comes up for Beltane in this deck. It's associated with Beltane, May 1st. And it's incredible that it's actually there. Actually, I'm okay. Let's go on, and we'll weave this story together for you. Okay, so here we have a card of in a relationship. Oh no, we want court card, right? Oh my goodness, we want court card. There are no accidents, though. There are no accidents. And what I was going to say with that green man energy, I wanted to land on that card. You know, it's one of allowing I just felt it's sexual passion. I felt it's the kind of relation, like a man's man, you know, like a very a fun and exciting relationship. That's what I was feeling. The Page of Vessels it's a sweet, you know, it's a very sweet energy, which is in huge contrast to the card that I was just about to place here. And so again, I feel this was a theme with somebody else today, that little sense of a little timid, perhaps a little afraid to dive into the waters, afraid to face the subconscious. Maybe this is connected, you know, the fear around the old wounds and actually diving into the waters of the subconscious and healing them. And ultimately, those wounds need to be attended to before a healthy relationship can emerge. And that's not something you don't already know. This feels like a little girl, right? This feels like a little girl who wants to be protected. And maybe that's why I was compelled to put down that fiery green man energy, that maybe you would benefit from being in a relationship where you had somebody who was taller than you, larger than you, heavier than you, so you could feel comforted and supported and so forth. Let's go on to the wisdom of this reading. I just find this so funny. So this card totally supports the first card, right? You can't make these things up. This is the Death card in this deck. So the wisdom is about the release. The wisdom is about the letting go. The wisdom is about dealing with the pain, diving into the pain. Whether this is with a counselor, whether this is through your own meditation practice, often support is needed on this journey. And sometimes you can really go to the actual metaphor in this card until the bone is completely cleaned off. The journey doesn't begin. So I don't know if you're seeing a counselor now, or if you have any support, but I feel like this is where you would benefit from spending some time. It'll help you to build some confidence, help you to release some of that fear. To really let the fears die. The fears have to die, right, before you can go on. And the evolution. So the King of Arrows for you as well too. Okay. So the King of Arrows is such a beautiful energy of clear sight. Clear sight. And in this deck, there are so many of the elements represented, and where the otter almost, and I know the otter loves to play in the water and so forth and is very, very joyful, but I was getting a very specific message from you. This otter is not playing in the water. I felt a trepidation of diving into the waters. The kingfisher very specifically surveys the water and doesn't waste any energy, just dives in and gets the fish. So what I'm kind of feeling here is like, it's like getting to the heart of the matter. The quicker you can get to the heart of the matter, don't dance around the bush and try to do this in an indirect way. Perhaps you would benefit from some real, very intentional letting go practices, very intentional healing practices, not postponing this, like doing this now, especially because the Beltane card is here. The Forest Lovers card is here. It's like an invitation opening up for you this spring. So maybe that's encouragement for you to get to this, right? To get to the work of healing, to get to the work of letting go of the pain. All right. Isn't that interesting? You got the king last. Okay. There's no mistakes with this. Okay, where are we at? We just jumped around a lot. There we are. Okay. Wonderful to see you supporting each other. Yes, new era. This is way back. Nancy commented that new era has lovely court cards. They do. Sorry, Andrew, I missed this addendum to your question, but I hope you got enough information to work with today. Okay, great. Just catching up with the chat here. Perhaps I'll use the Marielle for you next week or in an upcoming reading. Sorry about that, Elena. I just felt compelled to stay with this particular deck. Okay. And then the next one with the question is Patricia. Nancy, did you want a reading? Let me know if you would like a reading, Nancy. I'm happy to do one for you. Okay. So let's look at the situation and the court card and the support around work for Patricia. Thanks, Nancy. Okay. I kind of feel like I'm just going to pull one card for Elena here. Let's put these back. These are from a reading I did, a past life reading I did for myself. I love this deck for past life readings. Still, I never got around to writing it up. It's funny, I never get around to writing up readings for myself. Well, that's not true. Not as often as I would like. Okay. I think I'm gonna stick with the Wildwood just because I want to keep this in the Wildwood playlist, and it's great for people that are studying the deck to go to the playlist and see the reading there. Oh my goodness. Okay. Beautiful. I believe this is Archangel Gabrielle. You know, I just feel that with the Forest Lovers popping up, with this card showing up from the Marielle, that the setting, the opportunity for love and romance and passion is right there. It's like you are, yeah, don't avoid the healing work. You know, and you can do it simultaneously, but it's easier if you get some of it out of the way before you open up to a new relationship. Okay, so this is for Patricia T. And we're going to focus on work in regards to the energy of her draw. Okay. Next Tuesday, I'm going to do one more video on the Wildwood, and I think that's probably enough for now, and then we'll transition to the Marielle for the Hangman deck series. Okay, so Patricia T. Let's turn this the right way. All right. Minor. Ooh, okay. This is a very magical card in this deck. So this is the eye. This is the eye of the Uffington horse. This is a landmark in the UK. This is the breath of life. It's definitely an invitation. It's an opportune time to quite literally go for it, to trust that what is on your mind at this time is exactly where you need to be going. Okay, let's kind of build this together and see if we can get the energy of the supporting court card. You have the eel too. So do you have a business in mind? Do you have a project in mind? What is going on? What is going on with work? Can you give me any other information? I would love to have a little bit more information about your work. There's a contrast here. Look at the squareness of the eye in the grass, and then the shape of the eel. It almost feels like there's some conflicting energy. And it's a bit of a journey. You know, that eel reflects a journey. It's not, while you would think with this card, it's here right now, I see this as the time to move forward, but it's a bit of a process to get there. And when we're talking about work and when we're talking about business, it feels as if, this is the suit of vessels, the suit of cups. We need to have a practical approach if we're starting something new, if we're starting something fresh. Hello, Neem. I didn't see you come in. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so if you can give me any more information, I might be able to speak to that. The wisdom of this particular journey is one of doing, it's one of action. The green man would speak to a high level of connection with energy and environmental aspect as well too. Growing things from a grassroots perspective, connecting to the plants, the animals, healing medicine, high level of spiritual energy as well too. I'm not getting any more information from you. Okay, so yeah. So with a kind of general question like that, I would say your idea, the things that are on your mind feel accurate. Yes, this is a time to move forward, to shift gears. It's going to take some time to get there. Stay with your passion. So while this journey might feel like it's taking forever and ever, the green man is very intent and focused, right? He's standing there over his cauldron. He trusts in spirit, feels very, very connected. And so if there's any aspect of your work that can bring in natural energy, that also feels good. Okay, so the evolution, so we're going from night to night. Night to night. So there's a swiftness, there is movement, there is motion. Maybe this business is not going to be settling exactly where you want it to. Maybe the journey is actually transitioning the work from one city to another or one country to another. Maybe you do need to take flight and pick up roots and move. So we're moving from Knight of Cups to Knight of Fire. I'm wondering if there is a partner involved in this, if there is a team member involved. Maybe the Knight is your guiding light. Maybe it's about following the guiding light. Okay, so without any feedback, it's hard for me to go further, but just contemplate some of these questions. Some people are afraid of this energy, right? The hawk, the eel can have a bit of scary energy about them. And so this is also another random question, not a question, a random comment. It's when, kind of what I said to Andrew as well too. You don't need to be the nice guy when you're setting up the business. You need to know what you want and to go for it. And that's what that Ace of Arrows is also saying too. Like, stick to the task. There will be things that divert you from where you're going, but try to stay focused on the path. Okay. So glad you could be here too, Sophie. Oh, yes, of course. I can switch to the other screen. This one, I can do that. And I know you asked for this some time back, but there we go. Anna. Andrew, that is definitely an aspect of the King of Bows, and that sexual energy is definitely a huge part of that card for sure. So Burning Dreamer 13, would you like me to call you Burning Dreamer 13, or would you like me to use your first name? Do you have a preference? And Burning Dreamer 13, do you have a specific question that you would like to focus on today? And then Anna, I'll do yours next. I see your question there now. Okay, I need to stay where I am there, and then we'll just see if Burning Dreamer is responding. And Danielle Woven Pixel has been pulling some cards as well, and the Knight has been talkative. Good to know. Yeah, we are in Pisces season. We can't forget that. Okay. So this is for Burning Dreamer 13. I'm going to start with a general focus and then just see if we can get to something more specific as the energy of the card reveals a clear and specific message for Burning Dreamer 13. This is a fun card. This is a fun card. I love this card. It's a card of, it reminds me of full moon ceremonies, any kind of gathering, a spiritual gathering, getting together with friends, dancing. Also, there's a tremendous sense of letting go. Okay, great, Virginia. All right, love. I just feel this is so, be yourself. That's what I want to say. I'm feeling a real queen of fire energy here. Be yourself. Even a fiery, a fiery page of fire, just to give yourself permission to do what you want to do and be who you are and play and dance and sing and climb and jump and run and laugh and do cartwheels and be, just be you. Just be you. And perhaps your place of connection, I understand, this is not the ideal environment for this as well now, but your place of connection is with others, right? This is a card with other people. Mm-hmm. Fire, the element of fire. Yeah. So definitely love, passion kind of energy in this reading. Okay, let's go to the court and then the major, and we'll pull this all together for you. It's so funny. I just love looking at these cards as I'm turning them over. All right. Oh, more fiery. I know this is the suit of stones, but the lynx is it's kind of an intimidating creature, right? It's got that it's that wildcat energy, ready to pounce. It's like an invitation to pounce, Virginia. Like if you're feeling attracted to somebody, this is almost an invitation. Go, like you go pounce. You go, girl. That's what I'm feeling for you. Is there something else that anyone else is picking up on? It feels like, and this wild cat is sitting back and observing. The situation is one of involvement. It's one of connecting with others. And so there's a kind of a different frequency here. We also have the coolness of the winter season, the coolness of the stones. And this is, there's a disconnect here, definitely a disconnect. I'll see if I can address that for you in a minute. Okay, this is cool. This is cool. So the ancestor is the wisdom for your reading. The ancestor is the gate. So the ancestor is the gateway from Imbolc into the spring season. So I am going to venture that you've already met somebody, or that something is already in the works. The ancestor is the guardian of the wildwood. The ancestor is calling you into relationship, calling you into this adventure. And so are you listening to the clues? Are you listening to the signs? Are you following? Are you accepting the invitations? Maybe that's the message. Are you accepting the invitations? Or are you holding back and observing from a distance? Well-Tempered Claire says, Lynx is also secretive and intuitive, maybe shy in initiating or putting oneself out there. And then I like what Kristen said too, potential for missing your target does not discourage a cat from trying. The cats try again and again and again. So make sure you're listening to the call of the drum. Make sure that if there is an invitation, be it if it's a little subtle or not so direct, that this is a time to accept those invitations and to step into the dance, to step into the celebration and the fun. Oh, I love this. I love this. Okay. So the energy shifts from one of coolness and separation to an animal who is in the suit of cups and connected to, like, this feels much more connected to relationship. I'm not going to really go to the metaphor of what this picture represents, but the salmon is, if you will, diving into this. I like the balance of the fire and water. That appeals to me. And I know a lot of people don't like it when there's fire and water because fire can put out water, but there is a balance of feminine and masculine, and it feels like a nice balance of romance and passion and so forth. So tell me, is there somebody already in your, on the 24th of March, I'm going for a shamanic journey for some guidance. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if there is somebody that's already there, or maybe at that journey, at that gathering, there will be somebody there. So that's kind of a perfect card for you. All right, so thank you. Thank you, Spirit. All right, did I get to everybody with super chats? I don't want to miss the super chat, people. I really appreciate those donations. It's very generous. Anna is next. I know that. Cool. Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful reflection. Listening to your own heartbeat as well, too. All right, let's move on to Ana Torres. What is the potential between me and Diogo if I decide to give him a chance to get to know each other better? Okay. So for those of you that are following along in the Wildwood series that I'm doing, does understanding the underlying layer of the deck, so the seasonal associations, the connective energy, has it been helping you to work with the deck a little more easily? Or is it still really, really like confusing? I'm curious for those of you that have been spending more time with it. So you can let me know in the comments or in the chat. This reading is for Anna. We're going to focus on the potential energy between Anna and Diogo. Or is that Diego? I don't know if that's a typo. Okay. Anna and Diogo. Anna and Diogo. Allow me to be a channel for your messages. Allow the words to flow freely, and allow the messages to be revealed clearly through the images of the beautiful artwork of Will Worthington and the wisdom of John Matthews and Mark Ryan. I feel that the creators of this deck just offer so... Oh, we're just taking off the top card, apparently. Interesting. Okay. Let your hands be guided, Sadhana. All right. pick up your arrow. Choose, like this is an invitation to action. This is an invitation to standing tall. Choose your bow. Choose your arrow from your quiver and step forward into this. Okay, that was the next card. So this one was right away. This is a very health. I wonder if there's some aspect of physical fitness, like meeting at a gym or going for runs together or mountain climbing together or something that, and stones as well too. So I'm going to go with outdoor activities. If I decide to give him a chance to get to know each other better, please, what is the potential? Okay, well, let's go to the wisdom card. That's not really a clear answer. Okay, so timing wise, this is at the autumnal equinox. There is an inward journey involved, and there is an aspect of self-revelation. There's also a trusting of spirit. There is a deep connection with the magic of water also connected into this card. And then we also have the King of Arrows here, which reigns over the time at the beginning of spring. So just the time we've just moved through. Now we're on the swan, the queen time in the Northern Hemisphere. Okay. She is holding a ball in her hand, a crystal ball. So this is a card about trust. This is a card about trusting your gut, trusting your intuition. Maybe it's about looking at this relationship from a completely different perspective. So if you want to get back together with Diogo, would you be willing to be in this relationship in a different way with Diogo? What is this? Is a medicine pouch. This is a medicine pouch. So this will be holding some kind of medicine, but I can double check that just to be sure. But I'm pretty sure that that's what that is. Like it's probably got tobacco in it or some kind of medicine. I'll have to go to, they actually call it in this book a crane bag. And maybe one of you can reference that. It's not something that I have. I'm pretty sure they call it a crane bag, but I think it's a medicine pouch. There is a crane bag in the seer and in the mirror. And to tell you the truth, I've never actually looked up to see what a crane bag means and what that references. So there's a research project for you, Kristen. Your connection is new. Okay. Your connection is new. Okay. So the next, maybe that other court card will help us too. Both of the court cards are in the season of winter. Both of the court cards are in the season of winter. Both of the court cards feel extremely strong. Like healthy, in a very healthy way. I want to get you a kind of a message from the mirror. I've looked at this card so many times. There's a journey involved, and you're specifically asking what's the potential of if you're getting back together. There's some distance. There's some distance, Anna. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like coming together right away. Just give me 1 second here. Yeah. Mark says in his book, now is not the time to force the pace or drive with the plan or desire. You have heard what, just a second here. Let me get these words right. Now is not the time to force the pace or drive on with the plan or desire until you have heard what your soul has to say. So there's a bit of an internal journey that feels incomplete. And perhaps that's why both of the court cards are from the winter. I'm assuming you're in the Northern Hemisphere, is because the energy, this feels like a very physical energy. It feels like a very, a grounded family type of energy. But this card here, the wisdom of the reading, feels like there's an inward, there's some work, there's some, I don't know, self-care. There's a bit of a spiritual journey for you personally that trumps the relationship at this time. And I don't know if you connect to that at all, but that's what I'm feeling here. Now, why is the 5 of bows here, and the 5 of bows is suggesting empowerment and standing up. So perhaps the empowerment is self-empowerment, collecting, gathering the self-empowerment so that you can step into the relation feeling more empowered. Okay. A druid's crane bag is a special bag, a magical bag. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. So I was always assuming it was similar to a medicine pouch. And so it's similar. And that makes sense, Anna? Okay, good. Yeah. The story that Mark shares about his encounter with the energy of the mermaid at the waterfall is really something. And so I'm wondering too, if your inner spiritual journey would be enhanced through connection with water. That feels right as well too. Okay. All right. Does anyone else have a question? Fancy Weasel. Let's go to Fancy Weasel. All righty. You would like a reading concerning navigating your current stage of life. Hello, Gayleen. Welcome. And Danielle found an American Druid article on crane bag. It is a sacred, safe place to store spiritual objects. Thank you. Thank you for your research, everyone. And so in the seer card, let's just quickly look at this. We will find her. I really have gotten into the habit of carrying, I've shared this with you before, herbs. I have a lot of lavender. I have a lot of rosemary, dried rosemary, different herbs as well too from the garden, lots of sage and things. And so for me, my crane bag, my medicine pouch, I call it, I like to carry that with me when I'm out and about and make offerings. It's a really nice thing to have. I'm just leafing through this because I want to just imprint this in my mind. The crane bag on the seer card. I have a feeling I went past it. Okay, well, maybe the seer will show up in the next reading. All right. Fancy Weasel. Fancy Weasel's current stage of life. Let's get some clarity and insight, messages from our guides. Allow me to be a vessel for your words and the cards to display clear and insightful messages for Fancy Weasel. Journeying through this thing we call life, this adventure. Okay, so the situation. Endurance is the key word on the 5 of Stones in this card. So are you feeling tired? Are you feeling a little worn out, a little battle worn kind of energy? Or is that how you're feeling? The medicine of fire is hugely powerful. And in this particular card, we have, I was just looking for my little pointer. You see there's a lightning strike over on the left. The 5 stones are from the 5 parts of the cave that are overhead. You know, this feels like, again, this feels like an independent journey, a spiritual journey. I don't know what stage of life you were at, but if this is a transition, pilgrimages are and have always been an important part of understanding the transitions between, I went on too far. So we've got night. We've got the fox. One of the keywords also for the fox in this deck is endurance. So I would write that word down. Both of the creators speak to the longevity and the tenacity of the fox. It's so much more than a sense of survival. It's about that connection to, and I'm referring to the card on the left, but there's an adventure, there's an experience in the pilgrimage of going out alone and allowing whatever happens on the journey, trusting whatever happens. Oh, maybe this is a pilgrimage. Whatever happens on the journey is one that needs to happen. So the seer wants you to look in. This is a message of an internal experience, right? An internal healing, an internal deep reflection. The seer is the guardian of the suit of vessels. So the autumn. And oh my goodness, wasn't I looking for this card? That is so funny. I was looking for her. And so her crane bag, where is her crane bag? She has a large crane bag, I think. Where it's right here, perhaps. She has a lot of magical items here. The thing about the seer is the active use of magic, the active use of witchcraft, the active use of the tarot, the active use of whatever oracles you like to use, and that complete trust that wisdom lies within, the knowledge lies within, and the only way to find the answer is to go within. So the fox feels a little bit out of place here. And maybe that's why the fox is here. Because the fox is, while the fox has a similar, the intention of endurance, the fox doesn't necessarily have the, okay, let me think. And I'm getting kind of two completely different messages here. Yeah, and I keep getting reminded of this Kitsune oracle kind of stuff that's coming through, but we need to, the fox may very well be a symbol of general magical creatures for you. I need to see what the fox is going to transition. Fox to eel, night to night. Okay, so we definitely are on a journey. That's without a question. And then I'm going to get one message from fox for you, because this is curious. What is your association with fox? Do you have any relationship with fox energy? Is it a comfortable energy? Is it a discomfortable energy? This is the Knight of Bows. So actually, no, I'm not going to go to the book. I need to trust my inner wisdom here. The Knight of Bows wants to go on. The Knight of Bows is not staying put. And so we have a knight, we have a journey involved. So maybe you have been planning a trip. Maybe the intention of the trip was not spiritual, but there is an evolution of this trip. This can very well be an inward journey, but this could also be mirrored in an external journey, like an actual trip. So either book your ticket or your caravan or whatever, and head off on your journey. If this is about stepping into some kind of a spiritual program, then step into the spiritual program. It's a time of initiating this. Sometimes I feel that way. You're 70. You're 70. Okay. There is one more chunk of, it's like there's another piece of the pie that you are ready to reveal, that is ready to be revealed. And the only way that's going to be revealed is by going in. And so you either go in to the meditation, or you go into whatever your practice is, or you step out, and that will be mirrored for you in the external journey. You know how many times we go traveling, and when we're on that trip, when we're on that adventure, we meet that person who opens our eyes. We have that experience that changes us forever. And so we can do this, in either way. But there's a journey involved for you. And maybe that word is a metaphor for something else. So there's two words for you to write down. One is endurance and one is journey. Maybe you're going to train for a marathon, or a 10K or something. I feel often with the tarot, sometimes we try to get like too deep. It gets really serious. We get too deep, too metaphorical. Maybe it's as simple as that. Maybe there's a 5K race, a 5K fundraiser that's coming up. And maybe on that 5K journey, you are going to experience something, find something that will change you. Knight of Bows and Knight of Eels, Maybe there's a romance. Maybe there's a new sweet relationship waiting for you if you have the courage to step into wow. And with this, I also see the I'm just feeling like I don't know why. Like, I don't know why sometimes I go where I go when these messages come through, but I have to say this. Do you know what a red hat club is? I'm feeling this energy. I was going to say to you, put on your cape. Put on your cape. Like, if you like to dress eccentrically, dress eccentrically. Like, if you like to wear something floral, wear something floral. If you want to wear something sparkly, wear something sparkly. Like, just allow that inner witchiness, that inner sparkliness, however you feel that, to not be inhibited by those around you. Like, there's a message for you in that as well, in that vein as well too. Okay. All right, so that is a wrap for today. And I want to say that I really appreciate all of your contributions to the conversation. It's really nice that this is a community that supports one another. Love the energy of Freya. There is a red hat card. And I'm going to take a moment to show you. I think it's in this deck. I think it's in the Numinous Tarot. And it's not exactly a red hat card, but this is the energy I was thinking of. So one of the things when I see this 7 of candles in this deck is I think of a person who maybe their whole life, for some reason, they wanted to walk on a runway. They had this idea that they never got to fulfill a dream. And to me, this picture reminds me of that. I can hear everybody in the audience cheering her on. You go, girl. You be you. Oh my God, you're gorgeous. That's what I was feeling when that message was coming through. Yeah. And for some people, it's not a red hat, right? It could be anything. But I just wanted to share that with you. You're so welcome, Fancy Weasel. Yeah, you're so welcome, everybody. Sorry, Galen, I didn't get to you today. Okay, well, this has been fun. I have a class tonight that I need to prepare for. And yeah, so much is going on with me. I'm teaching a lot of different classes all at the same time, and this makes me feel energized. Doing this work that I love to do. And so if you haven't connected with me through a class or through a personal reading, know that I'm available in many, many different ways. And yeah, I really thrive with this kind of stuff. So let me know if you would like to connect in any way. And also too, if there are some, so the next couple of classes that are coming up, one is a miner's class, so working with the numbers. And I'm not going to be doing this so much in a Tarot de Marseille way, but just getting really comfortable with the minor arcana and trusting in the flow of the minor arcana and the relationship of the elements to the numbers. So that's one class that's coming up soon. I'm teaching a breath class, and I just changed the name of the breath class to Breathe With Me, because I want this to be a really kind of a more chilled class where I'm just going to guide you through breath. And for those of you that want to learn more information about the actual practices themselves, we can do that in a level 2. But Breathe with Me is starting soon. I have restorative yoga every Monday night live on Zoom. And the other tarot class that is starting is the court card class, which is something I love to teach. And then this is the level 1 court card class. So this is a court card class for beginners. You'll have to wait. For those of you that have been reading for a while, I do offer a court card level 2 class. And so that'll be probably in the summer that I do that. Yeah, but this is definitely a beginner court card class. Yeah, so I look forward to connecting with you in different ways. And thank you. Thanks for supporting one another. It's really wonderful. Wow, grandma was, I'm just going down here. Danielle is sharing things about her grandma. Yeah, be yourself, right? That's the message. Be yourself. All right. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you all soon. Namaste.